Jeffrey Epstein didn't operate alone. His trafficking network relied on high-profile figures who assumed their involvement would remain secret. That all changed when over 3.5 million documents were released, exposing the inner workings of one of the most shocking criminal networks in modern history. While names like Elon Musk, Bill Clinton were expected, what stunned the public were the unexpected celebrities revealed. This video focuses not on the obvious figures, but on those lesser-known connections, ranging from casual encounters to potentially deeper involvement in Epstein's hidden network.
You know, I think, yeah, wow, that's great.
The first name isn't a politician or a billionaire, it's magician David Copperfield. In 2007, he faced serious allegations from a woman who claimed he lured her to his private island under false promises. A 2-year investigation followed, but the case was dropped, and Copperfield denied everything. However, records later revealed multiple messages between him and Jeffrey Epstein, suggesting a closer connection than expected. While his team claimed it was only about show tickets, documents indicated Epstein was considered a friend. Investigators even looked into whether there was a deeper link between the two, especially after further allegations and claims surfaced over the years. Copperfield has denied all wrongdoing, but photos with Ghislaine Maxwell and ongoing accusations have kept doubts alive. Despite his career built on illusion, this is one controversy he can't make disappear, and things only get stranger from here.
And from the fan.
Exactly how I planned it. Jimmy had a heck of a run, and I was pushing.
Back to the story. In 2015, Brian Vickers married Sarah Kellen, a woman repeatedly linked to Jeffrey Epstein. She appeared in Epstein's 2008 indictment as a co-conspirator and resurfaced after his 2019 arrest. While Sarah claimed to be a victim, filings suggested she helped coordinate abuse, drawing comparisons to Ghislaine Maxwell. Brian wasn't entirely separate from Epstein either. Emails showed years of contact, some personal and explicit, including a 2019 Valentine's Day message hinting at a friendship spanning nearly 2 decades. With Brian's ties and Sarah's alleged role, their marriage drew controversy, ending in divorce in 2025. Epstein's network extended beyond athletes, reaching sports figures like Steve Tisch. Emails show frequent communication, sometimes hinting at introductions to young women in coded language. While there's no proof of illegal activity, the nature of the messages, much of it after Epstein's 2008 conviction, raised suspicions. Tisch denied wrongdoing, saying interactions were limited to adult women.
He is going huge.
Not every name in the Epstein files implies guilt. Take Tony Hawk, for instance. His name came up after a claim that he was seen on Epstein's island, but later evidence suggests it was a misunderstanding involving a completely different event. A victim recalled being taken to Little St. James Island and remembered seeing Hawk's wedding there. Photos of his 2006 wedding did show a tropical setting, and the photographer's name, Mark Epstein, matched Jeffrey Epstein's brother, which fueled suspicion. However, Hawk's wedding was actually in Fiji, far from Epstein's island, and the photographer had no family connection. Hawk later clarified his weddings took place in California, Fiji, and Ireland, nowhere near Epstein's properties. Reports indicate the victim had been in Ireland around the same time and may have witnessed Hawk's wedding there, later confusing it with her time on Epstein's island. Given the years that passed and the effects of trauma on memory, this appears to be a tragic misunderstanding. While Tony Hawk's case may be explained, even small connections can still raise serious suspicion.
Example of a superb director making you feel him as a director.
Woody Allen's connection to Epstein drew attention, though he was already a controversial figure due to past allegations involving his adopted daughter. Even after Epstein's conviction, Allen spent time with him, describing him as charming and interesting, treating encounters almost like material for storytelling. Their interactions included dinner plans and ongoing communication, with Epstein publicly defending Allen and claiming to assist him, though some claims were later denied. While no direct criminal activity links them, Allen's history and ties to Epstein fueled suspicion, highlighting a pattern. Epstein often gravitated toward powerful figures already embroiled in controversy.
Did the first rush hour, and that's a long, crazy story, but people,
Brett Ratner, known for directing the Rush Hour trilogy and a Melania Trump documentary, also appeared in Epstein-related records. DOJ photos show him sitting with Epstein and two unidentified women, which he dismissed as a chance encounter years earlier. However, emails reveal ongoing communication, including greetings passed through associates and a meeting noted in Epstein's 2018 calendar. Ratner's own history of misconduct allegations further complicates his connection. Illustrating a pattern, Epstein gravitated toward powerful figures, often those already surrounded by controversy.
Some of the classic views on the subject, for example, the views expressed.
Noam Chomsky appeared in Epstein's 2023 calendar for a scheduled meeting. Initially, Chomsky downplayed the connection, saying they met only occasionally. However, records suggest a closer relationship. He described Epstein as intellectually engaging and a valued friend, with emails showing invitations for trips and visits. His wife Valeria also corresponded with Epstein, later defending both of them, claiming they were unaware of his criminal history and drawn in by his philanthropy. Yet photos of Chomsky with Epstein on his private jet and prior discussions about Epstein's media backlash have fueled skepticism. This case highlights Epstein's pattern of connecting not only with celebrities, but also influential academics.
Bible and Shakespeare don't count, apparently.
The late astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, long admired for his perseverance, came under scrutiny after being linked to Jeffrey Epstein. He visited Epstein's U.S. Virgin Islands compound for a gravity conference, with no evidence of wrongdoing. A 2015 unsealed email between Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein allegedly mentioned Hawking in connection with Virginia Giuffre, who referenced an underage-related claim. Epstein discussed offering a cash reward to disprove it. With both Hawking and Giuffre deceased, clarification is unlikely. Many other names in Epstein's files remain vague, fueling speculation due to limited context.
But what's a prince to a king?
One of the most high-profile names is Michael Jackson, who was photographed alongside Jeffrey Epstein. The King of Pop has a long history of controversies involving his interactions with minors. While he was never formally convicted of any wrongdoing, speculation about his behavior continues, and the release of this photo reignited discussion. By all accounts, Jackson's connection to Epstein seems very limited. The photo was taken at a film festival in Palm Beach, reportedly while Jackson was house hunting in the area, and Epstein requested a picture. One of Epstein's alleged victims claimed to have encountered Jackson at Epstein's Palm Beach mansion, but no misconduct was reported. Justin Bieber is briefly referenced in an email from a woman named Peggy Siegel, who claimed she tried to set up a 17-year-old Bieber with 14-year-old Haley Steinfeld. Epstein reportedly showed particular interest in Bieber, especially during the singer's legal troubles. At one point, Bieber even hired one of Epstein's lawyers for a DUI case, creating a vague but notable connection between the two.
We're all in the room, not for every track, because not everyone's on every track, but...
Several other celebrities were photographed with Epstein, including Mick Jagger, lead singer of the Rolling Stones, and actor-comedian Chris Tucker, who stated he didn't know Epstein personally, but had been on his plane, explaining why he was also photographed with Ghislaine Maxwell. Some emails hint at a slightly closer relationship. For example, one message noted, Chris Tucker will be stopping by to see Jay sometime before his show tonight, without specifying a time. Another shows Tucker calling to arrange dinner in New York. While Tucker's humanitarian trip to Africa occurred in 2002, years before Epstein's 2008 conviction, these emails suggest they stayed in contact afterward. Other surprising names appear in the files, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, and Bruce Willis. Witnesses reported that Epstein would often boast to his victims about being friends with high-profile figures, even if he hadn't met them personally. DiCaprio attended several dinners hosted by Epstein, but later denied any association in 2024. Cameron Diaz and Bruce Willis appear even more tenuously, mentioned only in witness accounts of Epstein's bragging. High-profile rappers like Jay-Z and Pusha T also surface in the files for similar reasons. One anonymous tip to the FBI alleged that a woman had been abducted, drugged, and allegedly abused in Epstein's Florida mansion in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, Jay-Z, with Pusha T reportedly involved as well. However, the lack of verifiable information makes these claims difficult to confirm. Surprisingly, despite Weinstein's extensive history of allegations, these files contain few references to him. Many had hoped that the release of Epstein's files would provide clarity, but in reality, they raised more questions than answers. One of the most puzzling entries is a screenshot of a missed call from Rihanna, raising speculation about who she was calling and why. Over time, and even names once thought untouchable have been linked to one of the largest criminal networks in history. As for a resolution, it remains elusive. The files underscore that even widely admired figures, such as Oprah Winfrey, who is publicly celebrated for philanthropy, may have more complex, controversial histories than the public perceives.